Hey, how's everybody doing? I've got some work to do today, so rather than do it, I'll talk to you because two things just popped up and it made me think of a third. There's an article that went live on the internet from the New Yorker magazine, a deep dive into the situation in New York City with the not illegal but not legal marijuana shops in town. And if you don't live in New York, if you haven't visited, it's not a bad. Well, I mean, it depends on your point of view, but it's not. I don't personally don't think it's a bad thing, but it is a noticeable thing. I mean, I can walk out the front door right now, and in 2 minutes, if I do a loop, at least 10 places to buy marijuana with no worry of. I mean, it's not legal necessarily, but it's the cops are never going to do anything. Like they're not even allowed to. And it's wild because in I don't how get in the car and drive I don't know an hour west and you go to jail. It's just weird, right? But that's not the issue. The article is great because when New York decriminalized marijuana, it was going to be a great thing about trying to help out the disadvantaged, and naturally it's done nothing of the sort. There have been a few minor success cases, like Housing Works is making good money on it, but it's just it's not really working for a variety of reasons. And one of the reasons, which leads to part two, is all of the illegal shops, but which you totally understand. I mean, if you're just a business person trying to get by, just sell marijuana. It's pretty, there's always going to be a market for it. So what's funny is I was joking around. I do not smoke marijuana. I cannot do that such things. But I go to these shops because for whatever weird reason, and there's a second article from Eater.com explaining it, many of the shops don't just sell marijuana, they sell snacks. Obviously, you get high, you want some junk food, waka waka waka. What's one thing I don't like about the marijuana shops here in New York City? Not one. And there's 455,000 of them. Not one of them plays like Santana or The Dead. You go in there and they just play the radio or they're playing hip hop. That's demographic. That's different. That's fun. That's cool. But you figure there'd be one that would be like you'd walk in and be like boop, ba-doo boop boop boo, ba-doo ba-doo boop, ba-doo boop boop boo, and they'd just be jamming out, right? I don't understand why. I mean, I get it. That market is, smaller, but you'd figure one would like be, kind of make that their place. Like if you're like a dedicated jam band hippie boomer guy, you're gonna walk the extra 5 blocks to buy it at like Jerry's Buds, man. Boop ba da boop 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 ba da boop ba da boop boop boop. What do I know? Anyway, what I wanted to say was this, and what I will say is this: in New York City, most of the bodegas get their snacks and candies from like one of a handful of small distributors that they all got the same product. They all got the same inventory. I've written about this in my deep dive essay about Snack Mix. No, sorry, Party Mix. I wrote about Party Mix for Mel Magazine. The weed stores, and as written about by Eater Magazine, have like a whole new scene, man. You smoke that. You smoke that herb, man, and you get expanded. Whoa. And it's like a whole new galaxy of snacks. Now, a lot of them are imported from Yemen, I've learned. Not that they're made in Yemen, but they're from Yemenis. They're coming from, I don't know, from Germany to Yemen to Astoria Boulevard, Yemen and China and Taiwan and all kinds of places, far-flung places, great snacks. And, some of them are from that area, but also like, Kit Kat bar flavors that you can't find in the U.S. are now everywhere in the U.S. And this is my dope, man. This is what's great. And I've been really enjoying this for a while, to the detriment of my health. Smoking weed would be much better for me. Why are they still smoking Take the gummies. Now the edibles, right? My neighbor, and he's a good guy, a great guy. He smokes weed constantly. God bless. You want to smoke weed? This is America, man. Do your thing. This is New York. It's free. It's legal. Why smoke? It's bad for your lungs, and it stinks. And it's annoying in the summer because you open the window and it's like, oh my God, the next door neighbor just can't stop smoking. It's fine. You put a fan and it goes away after 2 minutes, but he's got to get into the edibles, man. It's tough. It's tough being me. So what I wanted to tell you was this. It's the snacks and candies are great. So I go in there a lot. Now this is what I wanted to say. I said there's two articles, but the third thing, and this is my nut graph. If I can get to it now, 6 minutes in. If you go to the weed store, if you go to the right weed store, some of them are just run by, they were a bodega 6 months ago, and now they're just a weed store, so it's the same half-asleep people. But a lot of these stores are run by people that are in the life. One of the ones that's physically closest to me, and right near the subway, so I pass it constantly, is run by I don't know if they own it, but the guy that's always there when I'm there is a young, permanently stoned Arab American kid. And sometimes his totally stoned out, dreadlocked girlfriend. They are wrecked. They are wasted constantly. And they're really nice. So I go in there to buy, my raspberry-coated Kit Kats and whatever. Everybody's in there to buy different strains. And they're like, it's funny. Some of the stores, like, they have, like, it's like behind a plexiglass, or they have it nice. They just have bowls with scoops. Like, an old candy store where if you want to get some, I don't know, some Red Hots or something, and you have a big shovel, or you need jelly beans. That's what they have with just like big buds of weed, man. So, anyway, I go in there, and I kill. Everything I say, I crack these two up, and it's phenomenal. It's great for my ego. I go in there, and I'm like, I just killed at Caesar's Palace. I go in there. I'm a comedy king at the whatever they're called, the Wowie Zowies on 31st Street, and I just go in there, and I'm like, well, because they got their young. It's a young store. Everybody's in there. Yeah, man, you gonna go do this, and they're buying their drugs, and they're all hip and they're cool, and I waddle in there like the Penguin, and I'm like, good day, sir. Might you have a raspberry-coated Kit Kat? And they kills. I'm the king of New York when I go in there. They're Snapchatting their friends. They're on their Discords, whatever the hell they're doing. He's back. I was there last night. I was out late last night going to see some jazz music. And, what am I going to do when I come home? Listen, I have a thing. If I get home past a certain hour, I'm allowed to go get a raspberry-coated Kit Kat. Or it's not just that. They have these, like, wafer bars. I saw one in there the other day. It was a Nesquik branded, like, vanilla wafer bar coated in chocolate. I've never seen that before. You got to get that in Yemen. You got to battle the Houthi dissidents to get that shit. What I'm saying is that it's a great time to be in New York City right now. It's a great time. You want to get blitzed on weed? Go get blitzed on weed. I prefer if you did an edible for the sake of the smell. But you want to get wrecked, man? You get wrecked on your weed, or you get wrecked on these imported Kit Kat bars from, they're made in Rotterdam and shipped down to Yemen, and then they come to you. Well, listen, it's now Thursday morning. I don't know what you're doing for the rest of the day. I'm in a liminal state right now where I'm a little bit unemployed. So I do have a little time to kill. So maybe we'll talk about something else soon.